All right, so let's try again, and I'll get straight into it. So we stopped at not many people are going to be happy, and they're not going to be liking the truth. Might be people logging back on. I'm not too sure at this stage, but I'm just going to continue going, and then whoever logs in can, watch it from the beginning. So the first one was your living environment. So stating your truth, what it is that you want, and then retracting from that, making sure that your energy is within you. And then that moment of silence can be uncomfortable, but that's very essential for you to be in that space, because that means that you are owning your truth, and you're comfortable with just being you with your truth. The second part is men, right? So I mean, as much as women, as we love to receive compliments, and we love to be told how beautiful we are and how special we are, and how wonderful and talented and intelligent, and like all these compliments. But my question today is, what does it mean to you to have your voice? So when you hold your voice, your internal voice, it means that strong voice that says, I know I'm beautiful, I know I am this, without needing the approval or the validation from the external world. So in this instance, men. Okay, so you've got to know, you've got to believe, and you've got to feel that you are everything that you are within yourself, okay, without the validation and the approval and the compliment coming from a man. And you will see that when you are owning every part of yourself, and knowing that you are not, like your qualities and what you believe of yourself is not determinant of what men think of you, okay? So the third one is your clients. So it's important that when we are dealing with people, I know that it can be very challenging at times. I had an experience yesterday with a client on the phone. She was a doctor. And when I was stating my request, which was, me laying the ground for, this is for my interpreting call, and I requested for her to speak in first person, which is absolutely normal for any interpreter to do, because what you are doing is you are just kind of facilitating the communication between the two people, because you always act as the is it conduit, like you are acting as the you're delivering the messages basically for both parties. So I remember that when you are dealing with clients, when you're dealing with people, when you are conducting a service, people are not necessarily going to be respecting you. People are not necessarily going to be liking you. People are going to be challenging you. People are not necessarily going to be thinking that you are deserving of your role. You're not deserving of your position. You're not as good as the other people that they've worked with. Whatever, they could have whatever opinion they want, but it always remains their opinion, which is not the truth, right? So what do you do in an instance of how do you maintain truthful to your voice when you are faced with a confronting and challenging situation? So I just want to share with you, I had this woman that was very argumentative, and everything I requested, everything I stated, even without, work, and I noticed that there was tension, like there was, literally friction. I could sense the friction. So in this instance, for her, it was not her client's outcome was not a priority for her. For her, the priority was that she was heard, and that she was, her mind, her ego was actually the priority in this instance, and I felt it all the way through. Now, do you act? At the beginning of the call, my instinct said to me, Vanessa, end the call now. So do not, because as an interpreter, you have the right, and you have, you have the right whether you want to, because really, it's like being self-employed. So you have the right to say whether you are wanting to go ahead with the call or whether you're not. In that moment, when I noticed that she had arrogance, she literally rose her voice on the phone, and I stopped her right there. So I stopped the lady, and I said, lady, you are yelling in my ear, and I need you to stop right now. I'm making a request that I need you to follow. Are you prepared to speak in first person? If you are, I'm happy to move on. So that was me laying the ground, the foundation. And I said, it was kind of like an ultimatum, but not really an ultimatum, right? I was just simply saying, if you are happy to obey by my rules, because this is how I work, then we can go forward. If you are not, then I'm going to retract. Now, in that moment, my instinct was like, Vanessa, this is a difficult client. You better retract. But in that moment, what happened was I challenged my role because I felt like my role was challenged, but I also wanted to challenge myself. Now, that's what a lot of women do. We go against our instinct. Why? Because we want, this is what came to me. We want to prove that we are good enough, okay? Even in the most difficult and toughest situations, okay? And this is what I felt came out for me. Because my sense, also my sense of like service and of wanting to provide support is so strong. It goes beyond. It's like, you know, I am naturally selfless, but I've learned self-love. So this is why I do the kind of work that I do, is because I'm always within my self-love zone. But what I'm also doing is I'm actually very aware of the dynamics and how language interacts and affects our immediate space and what effect it has on us. Okay, so I decided in that moment hi Carol, I decided in that moment to go ahead with a challenge. So I went on with a call. Now, these interruptions with the phone, just like we've had interruptions with the computer. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask, okay? So I'm actually sharing this experience because I found it very fascinating. And it's also to help you to question your own intuition as well. Now, when you are listening, when you have that inner voice, then you decide whether you want to take it on board or whether you are wanting to challenge it or you're wanting to work with it, okay? So I decided to kind of challenge it and to work. No, actually, I decided not to challenge it, but to work with it, because I remember in the moment where I decided to go ahead with a call, the woman agreed. There was interruptions, and the woman needed to find something always to smash it against me, right, to make me wrong. I felt like it was just that judgment coming through. So obviously this woman in her life, she's always been very judged. She never felt accepted. And I feel it's very much to do with the cultural background, okay, which is very sad. So I was very present to that. You know, I knew that she had undergone, you know, racial problems. So there was a lot of underlying deep, like cultural, like insecurities right then and there. So she needed to feel important. She needed to feel validated. And it came across the way that she was so ready to go into the attack mode, right? So what I did was I stayed in my lane as I agreed to go ahead with the call. But as soon as interruptions happened with the phone, then it came through her voice again, the judgmental tone, and I decided to retract from the conversation, and I said I'm not going to be able to go ahead with the call because there's problems with the connection, and I retracted from it, and that was it. But in doing that, I was very aware. I stayed very present. I made sure that I didn't allow the woman's emotions and insecurities to affect me in a way that I became aggressive, and I made sure that I wasn't responding in a way that it wasn't of my nature. So first of all, you go with the instinct. So listen to how you are. You know, are you listening to your instinct? Are you challenging it, or are you working with your instinct? So this is something that I want to ask you to pay attention to. Okay. Now, also, when you're either challenged or when you're put on the spot, I will ask you, okay, and remember, take everything as a grain. You don't have to do this. This is just something that I found very fascinating and interesting, and it helped me to see, you know, to evaluate, right? You know, my response to situations in a way that I'm not taking away from myself, where I'm staying true to my, you know, to self-love and anchored in self-love, right? So remaining in your energy. So again, going back to the example, so I noticed this woman was always ready for the conflict. She was ready for that challenge because she needed to continue to prove herself, right? It was the ego. She had to prove herself. So I became observant to it, but then I stated very clearly that at the end of it, that there's just it's not going to be possible to go on with the call. So it was ended. It had ended right there. So it's important that you continue to remain in your ground, because we do not have the power of what people are going to be thinking of us, what kind of judgments they're going to have of us, or anything like that. So the main thing is that you do not enter their lane, so that you do not start to defend yourself, knowing that they are pricking at you because of something in particular. Because if you go into their lane, that means that you are stepping away from your voice and you are stepping away from your own truth. Does that make sense? So with clients, as long as we know and that we're very aware of, our level of professionalism, and that we are all in when we are giving our service, if we are noticing certain behaviors from the other people, from the other person, it's important. Our instinct can help us to determine what is ours and what is not ours, and how to deal and stay integral to our truth whenever shit gets thrown at us. Basically, like said simply, right? So whenever crap gets thrown at us, which does not belong to us, right? And people just love to throw at you because they can't deal with their own crap, right? They haven't worked through their own stuff. And I say this with compassion and love, but the damage that is done, and remember, this was a woman, so there's a lot of damage that is done through the voice, right? Between women, that causes women to remain more in their cocoon and to become less trusting of other women. Okay, so the purpose of this call and this topic today is, how do you remain integral to your truth? How do you remain strong in your truth by using your own voice? Hi, Heather. Please feel free to watch the video from the beginning. There's amazing content that that's been shared so far. So what does it mean to you to have your voice? What does it mean for you to remain truthful to yourself, first of all, in your living environment? And I gave a tip for that. So there's stages, right? So first of all is voicing your truth, making sure that you are very direct with exactly what is it you want. There will be emotions coming up that will, bring feelings of not feeling worthy of, receiving what it is that you want, expressing what it is that you want. It's important that in that moment that you are observant of that. Does that make sense? And also retracting from it. Once you say it, energetically, try to take a step. It's like literally if you can physically, that can help you energetically. Because a lot of people may not know what it means to remain in your energy, right? Or retract your energy. So physically, support yourself physically, retract, take a step backward. Could be tiny, right? And then take a deep breath from your belly, okay? That means that you are retracting, you're remaining in your energy, remain in silence in that instance, allow that silence to take place and just be in your truth, okay? The second one is, what does it mean to you to have your voice in an instance with men as a woman? So do you need to hear their validation? Do you need to hear their compliments to feel beautiful? Or do you feel and know and own your beauty and your strengths and your intelligence and all the gifts that you have, right? Because you all have gifts. We all have gifts, right? Do we need validations from a man, from our partner, from our father, to know that we are so worthy and that we are so valuable just being us, because everything is already within us? The moment that we are needing the validation, we are not owning our gift, our strength, our voice, our truth. Just really want you to sit with that, because you are beautiful without a man needing to tell you that you are gorgeous, right? Do you know how long, just to share a little brief from my end, I'm going to read your message in a second, Heather, okay? I just don't want to lose track. So do you know how long I waited for my father to give me a compliment, to tell me he's the kind of Casanova guy that, he divorced my mum when he was 3, he remarried, and he's divorced again, but he's always kind of had the eye for, younger women, which I think is kind of weird, but it's very, very common in Italy, right? So, I always felt very hidden whenever we went out for dinner, because you'd always hit on the waitress, or I felt very transparent. I felt very invisible when I was with him, and I really longed for a compliment from my father, and I never really got it. So that kind of contributed to my insecurities as a woman, growing up. So, And just a recent encounter that I had with myself, with my own inner work, is, you know, as my father went to Australia and spent time with my sister, and there was more, you know, communication between us. I really recognized that, you know, men are going through their own journey, and they're going through their own healing, and what they think and what they voice to you is not necessarily said with the best of intentions, first. And secondly, it always remains their opinion based on their values and their backgrounds and their issues and what have you. So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that we must believe and know that we are beautiful within ourselves, and recognize our weaknesses and our strengths and our talents and gifts before anyone sees them. And I know that we need to have that mirror. I know how important it is to have this tribe. This is why we have this group, ladies. You know, this is why we need friends in our life. This is why we need friends. This is why it's very healing to have a journal, to write quotes on your walls, to have paintings, to have beautiful pieces, you know, poems, to reiterate affirmations and things like that, because it fills us up, and it helps us to nurture our subconscious, right? Now the third one was with clients, right? So the third one is what does it mean to you to have your voice with your clients? And it simply means to know and to value your work, your level of excellence, your level of professionalism, okay? And understanding, you know, where your client is coming from, and knowing whether what they are demanding is something that has to do with them that you are unable to fulfill, or whether you can, right? And if it is an area where you know you are called to instinctively to not go there, you have a choice, right? You've got a choice to either be challenged in the moment and be ready, they could turn out pretty nasty, right? Or not, but anyway, so being challenged, what did I say before? You can either challenge it, you can step away from it and say no thank you. So I could have, for example, going back to the example, you can end the call and say, I'm going to have to go because there's a bit of these interruptions with the line. I can't hear you properly. I'm not going to be able to go forward with the call. So you can retract from it, or you can decide to work with it, thereby remaining with your intuition and remaining aware with it, so that you can become the observer in that moment. And that can help you to get to know yourself at a deeper level in that position, and then you will become stronger, you will be more resourceful in the next instance that something may come up. Whew. So this is something that I felt very called to share with you. I'm sorry if you know, there was a lot of information. I hope there wasn't, and I hope that it hasn't overwhelmed you. I'm going to read the messages now. Heather Hansen, this is a perfect topic for me. I'm still finding my own voice. I know so much that I want to share. Yes, Heather, you want to share. In what instance do you want to share more of yourself? Is there a particular area in your life, Heather, that you want to share more of yourself? Does it include the topics, the areas that I've shared with you now on the video? Is it with your home environment? Is it with men? Is it with your clients? Or is it another area that we may be able to explore together? Because our voice, ladies, you know, I feel, oh my goodness, like the way that we are using our voice really shapes our reality, really shapes the level, the quality of life that we are living. Because let's admit it, like if we are not being truthful to ourselves in these instances, you're not going to feel vibrant. You're not going to feel your cellular, like your cells dancing and being happy, and you're not going to feel rigorous. You're not going to feel alive. Because I want to share with my clients, oh yes, okay, you want to share more, you want to share more of your own truth with your clients? Do you feel that you hold yourself back with your clients? Is that what you're saying, Heather? Sorry, just help me to understand that, because I want to see if I can, you know, help you out more, or just kind of give my perspective, if you know, if it can help. When we are honest we are honoring ourselves, but we're not only just honoring ourselves, we are healing, and we are giving space to the other person to actually heal. And for us to not, we're taking away the burden of carrying their pain and their weight, which is not for us to carry. So when you are truthful, when you I don't want cutthroat, when you are straight, when you are very direct, you are standing in your truth, you're shining, right? So you're allowing yourself to be that light, to be that brightness, but you're also allowing space to the other person to see what's happening in their world, how they are responding in their own space, in their own life. Because the way that we are responding, and I don't know if you would agree with this, Heather, if you can see it within yourself, your situation, but the way that we are showing up and using our voice in one area in our life, it's interesting to see that same repetition in every other area of our life. Okay, so I'll invite you to explore that further, and to see how you are actually showing up and using your voice in the other areas of your life. That might be an embedded pattern, you know, because, you know, everything just, patterns become a habit, becomes so habitual that you don't even see it, right? But I will just invite you to explore that. I want to do what you are doing now without trepidation. Okay, love. Okay, interesting. So, you know, Heather, and you can and you will, because you are here. You are present, and you listen to your instinct. You've showed up. So remember, everything you are seeking is seeking you. And I say that not to make you feel better. I say it because I truly mean it. And I believe that we are our first. We need to cheer ourselves on. We need to be the first ones. Okay. So you're already here. You're watching the video. You're present. You were called in by the title, right? Because this is where you're at in your life, and this is the part that you are wanting to embrace more of, and you are already, you know, kind of working that out. So give yourself credit for that, Heather. You know, we really need to give ourselves credit for what we are doing already. Everything we are wanting, we are working towards, right? And we are in the midst of, you know, creating that. So if you want to get on a call, Heather, just PM me, or just reach out on my link. You can either go on my website and just book a call. We can have either a session together for an hour, or we can have just a discovery call, and then I can see how I can support you, because I want to support you the best way that I can. I know how important it is to own your voice, to use your voice. It helps you to feel empowered. It helps you to be proactive about what it is that you are wanting to. I'm sweating as I'm like communicating this, but it's true, you know, like the moment that you are voicing your truth, ladies, you are living from a fuller cup. You are living more full, and you are being yourself more. You are showing up as yourself more and more and more, and you will only just grow every day from then on. Now remember, in order to do that, there are you can support yourself in so many different ways. First of all, I would always have somebody to look up to. I would always have someone to look up to, because it helps a tremendous deal, okay? Then I would also help my own self by seeing how I am being with myself, my communication, the actions, right, that I'm using with myself, and yeah, so everything that I'm doing, am I doing it to support, to nurture myself, or am I doing it, is it drifting, is everything I'm doing drifting away from nurturing myself? And also remember, there's like internal energetics that a lot of people don't understand, but this is where I specialize in a lot as well, not only language, but also energy. These energy channels in our body that we can work with, and that can only support us to be stronger. Okay, a lot of people think that you've got to put resistance, like weight training, right, to build the muscle. But you can build that muscle as well with a lot of other components that can only help you to strengthen that muscle. So, for example, to work with your muscle, you know, your food is essential. The way, the technique, that you are using, and obviously the actual action of, you know, weightlifting. So there's so many areas that you can tackle, that you can work with to support yourself in the way that you are using your voice, and to make sure that you are showing up as your full self, 120, 300,000%, as you every time. And it's amazing, like what I notice is that the more I come forward, because these living, we're always growing every single day. Sometimes we may be acting or responding in a way, and then something may come up where you observe that that's the way that you used to respond, but you no longer need to respond in that manner. So you will notice, you will experience your old self shredding off. And that is such a good feeling, and that just opens your vision even more, and it opens your confidence, and it deepens your trust with self, which in turn helps you to truly embody yourself when you are in that act of, speaking. So let me know how I can be of extra support to you. My speciality is working with the energetics of our body, and obviously using language in a way that empowers you. Okay, so language is really powerful. Language, I have a degree in linguistics. I work as an interpreter. I've taught languages, and I believe that there's like a metaphysical component, like there's a quantum level of understanding with language that can help. I believe that there's a way that you can use language to empower yourself and to heal, okay, yourself. And as you are healing yourself, ladies, you are healing other people. And it's really powerful. And it's not until you start to use this level of power with language that you can actually see what I'm talking about. So if you want to know more on this topic, don't hold yourself back. Listen to that inner voice, listen to what it's saying to you, explore it, listen to it, act on it. Reach out to me either for a session, for a healing session. We can explore it, or we can explore it further through a discovery call, and then I'll be more than happy to see how I can support you to be more connected to your voice, more connected to your truth. And remember, the language that we are using is supporting us every day to get closer to who we are. Okay, so I'm going to send you a lot of love, and if you have any questions, reach out. I want you to know that everything I do and everything I show up to you with is oh my God, it's just powerful work, and it can change your life. It can change the life of the people that you love. It can change your reality. Okay, you just need to embrace it. All right, you just need to embrace it. Okay, so I'll see you again very soon.